TradingNut, episode 62.
Well, trading is all about psychology. It's 90% psychology. So you really have to get your mind right.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the TradingNut podcast. I know it's been a while since the last episode. I was away on holiday for 10 days. Had a great time. Went to Australia with the family. Went to the Gold Coast. Lovely weather over there. They're actually having a summer, whereas we're not. So, yeah, how did the holiday go? I'll tell you what, the place we stayed was unreal. Maybe I'll chuck a photo up of the pool at the hotel. This pool was crazy good. So it wasn't a pool. It was not a pool. It was basically a beach in the hotel, and it had fish, like big sort of, 1 foot long fish, 4.5 meters deep. Oh, it was amazing. Myself and my daughter, we were snorkeling there pretty much around the clock. I'll put a picture up in the show notes so you can go and check it out and see what this hotel pool looks like. It is truly phenomenal. So, yeah, over there for 10 days. Look, it wasn't the perfect holiday, only because the first day I got struck with like a norovirus, some sort of tummy bug. And what do you know? It lasted the entire 10 days and then stopped on the last day. So I saw pretty much every single public toilet on the Gold Coast, which wasn't what I was intending to do. But look, I made the most of it. Thankfully, the rest of the family didn't get sick, and they had a great time as well. So now, the one thing, I suppose, trading related around that was I thought I could trade during this break. And so I set everything up because I've got this thing now where I literally need to do sort of 20 minutes in front of the charts a day. I didn't want to jump on a laptop. I wanted to do it all via the phone. So I set up a virtual private server, so a VPS, where my MetaTrader terminal sat, and I was able to connect into it through a little app. So the tricky thing was I had to maneuver trend lines on the MT4 app with my thumbs and fingers and what have you, and get them to precise points. And look, it was very hard. The only time I managed to do it was when I was in a queue at the theme park for, I think it was Scooby-Doo, the Scooby-Doo ride. And the queue went for, I don't know, an hour and 45 minutes. It was ridiculous. I thought, I'll tell you what I can do. I can do my trading for the day. So I did set up some alerts. Got some. Did I take a trade? I think I took one trade whilst I was away, and then I thought, look, this is just too hard. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to take a break. So I ended up taking a break, and came back and got back into it with probably one of the best trades I've taken in my life. So it's up there in the TradingNut chat room on Telegram if you want to go and check it out. Now, today we've got a guy who was actually featured in the Telegram chat room. So you may have heard of his name, you may not know much about him, but you're going to find out a lot more about him today. So he's got a unique story. Goes all the way back to his young son having autism, and how that helped steer him into the trading world. We're going to hear all about this guy. He's known as Alltrades, Joseph of Alltrades. And we're going to hear all about his story. And look, if you guys are interested in, I suppose, finding out more about this guy and some things that we don't really talk about in the show, then here's what you need to do. Email alltrades@tradingnut.com, and you can find out a bit more about how you can potentially get more involved with what Joseph's doing. So that's email alltrades@tradingnut.com. I'll put that up in the show notes as well. And we did shoot a video after this interview as well, so jump onto the TradingNut YouTube channel where you get to have a look at some of the trades he talked about in the show, much more detail than what we go into in the show. So guys, without further ado, here it is, Joseph from Alltrades. Great interview coming up right now. All right, folks, we've got Joseph here from Alltrades over there in London in the UK. Now, Joseph, funnily enough, you live in the same area that I lived in when I was over there doing my stint in the UK. So how are things over there in West London?
It's going fantastic. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Right now, where I live, they're doing a lot of building work, which is a bit of a pain because I work from home and I have to hear the jackhammers going all day.
What a nightmare. And look, some of you guys out there listening may remember the name Alltrades. So Joseph has featured in the trading group, TradingNut Telegram room. So if you've seen him in there, this is the guy that we've got on the show. So he's posted some great trades over there, some really, really long-term trades where, it's quite interesting to see somebody in a trade for that long. I think, what was the longest trade you had last year?
Oh, the trades, I put on tons of trades, so I'm not really watching them, but I think the one I posted in your room, it took a lot longer than I expected to go to target. It might have been 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4. It took longer than I expected. But that's trading, though, isn't it? Sometimes you know where it's going to go. You believe it's going to go there. And for whatever reason, you don't know. It does what it's going to do, but it's for you to have the confidence to you got to have that belief in your system in it that it's going to do what you expect it to do, and it did. It took a while, but it did. I drew the picture in the group before and after. That was a big trade. I think that was like 200 or 300 pips, and it went to where it was supposed to go, which was as they all are, wonderful, isn't it?
Right. Well, let's start off by finding a little bit more about you. So, how did you first get into trading, and your journey up until now?
Yeah, well, it's a long story. I don't know if we've got enough time, but trading for me, I had come across it in 2012 somehow. I don't know, it must have been an ad or something, and I just couldn't do it because I'm a multi-skilled tradesman. Electrical, plumbing, gas, carpentry, 6 or 7 trades in there, air conditioning. And what it was, I'm just too busy. But came a point in my life where my son, who was 2 at the time, he was diagnosed with autism. We knew there was a concern. And really it was a question of working or looking after my son. Because, as he was getting older, he was a bit much to handle for mum. And autism is one of those things that, the kids can drive you up the wall. And mum needed a break. So yeah, I said, I'll stop work and she can go to work. And so I became his full-time carer. And then whilst home with him, I was like, well, what am I going to do? I mean, I've grafted all my life, and watching the likes of Bloomberg and CNBC, they was talking about trading. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll look into that. Now I've got time. So I downloaded a platform, was clueless about what I was doing, and joined the group, decided I had to join a group. And I came across, I don't know if I can mention names, but I came across this 2014 it was. Anyway, whatever the name of the group is, I'm not a fan. Put it that way.
Okay.
Terrible group. I mean, going through that group was literally like pulling teeth. There's nobody successful in that group because you lost a question in the trade. Who's making money? Show me, third party reference, Forex Factory or at my FX book. There's nobody showing you anything. And here was me. I was trying to be positive, posting positive trades and all the rest of it. And I got a grilling. It was like the idea of winning is just something so foreign to them. And anyway, eventually I was banned from their shout box. And it weren't for posting bad trades, I tell you. I mean, these were beautiful trades that I was posting. But anyway, they eventually banned me and confined me to a small little area, which is a blog. So everyone's allowed their own personal blog. And in this shout box, everybody talks in the shout box. Whereas in your blog, it's you talking. And if anyone comes, they can have a look at what you're doing. But that was the best thing that happened, because here I am confined in this little space. I was forced to put all of my commentary into my blog, which actually stays. because the shout box that they have is a bit like the Telegram. You know, it scrolls up and you'll be scrolling through miles of information to find anything. Whereas on my blog, it's just there month by month by month. And that's what I did. Every month, I would do a blog for January, February, March, April, May, and so on. And I'd post all my trades. And it was the best thing, because what that did for me is that it got me focused on what I'm doing, irrespective of what everybody else is talking about in the shout box. And so that was brilliant. And that wasn't my success story in there, but the grilling I got from the guys caused me to work harder. I joined another group, and one of the things I said was this group particularly was pretty cheap. It was only like $300. So I thought, well, if you pay cheap, probably why you're not making progress. The second group I joined was $3,000, and plus they charged $200 a month to use their charts, and you had to do that. So the first year would have been about $6,000, and it was a mentorship. And in that group, it was fantastic. I mean, it was brilliant. Those guys in there were trading amazingly. I mean, they would put on multiple positions per currency. And, you know, the one woman in there, her name was Dana. She'd be trading about 10 different currencies, and she'd have like 10 or 15 positions. And how they'd post it is, you know, position one was 232, 210, 180, 150, 112, 69, 50, 10, 12. And those were all the positions they took on that one. So it was like 1,000 and so many pips on that one trade. It was insane. It sort of blew my mind. And there was multiple traders all doing the same. I'm like, wow, this is the group to be in. These people are making money. Compared to that first group where he's trading for 40 pips. I mean, come on, seriously. And half of his trades don't even work. So I took the mentorship. And over the year, I was overwhelmed, I think, because there was so much information. These guys are making all these pips. How in the world they're doing it? And I just couldn't see it, to be honest. And you go into the trade group every day, morning and afternoon. So they had a London session and they had a New York session. And I'd be in the group listening, and plus you get the recording and all the rest of it. And I wasn't really making progress as such. And then I sort of switched off for a bit. I was like, oh, this is just too much. So I took a break for a month. And I tried to figure out something. And it was a single line trend line break. You know, you draw a single line trend line at an angle, 45 degrees, price breaks above it, enter the trade, and, you know, you go to the 618 fib. And that's a strategy I'll show you later on. And so I started working with that. And anyway, I carried on with the mentorship. And when the year ended, I didn't continue. I just stopped. And then I started working on what I thought I knew. And this is what I say to everyone. Look, you know what you see. What you see is not necessarily what somebody else sees. So figure out what you see and stick with that and build on it. And that's what I did. And those were the trades I was posting in that first group, in that little blog section. And I'll continually do it. And the amount of ridicule, these are beautiful trades because, you know, sometimes I'd post a trade that I should have taken. I'd post it in hindsight. But it's called, you get your reticular activating system working. The more trades you post, and which is why I encourage everyone to post their trades, the more trades you post, you just get to see the types of trades you trade by continuously seeing the same thing over and over and over and over again. So now when you go to the chart, you can just see it. You can just see it. Nobody has to, you know, you just can see it. And I remember one month I made 100% returns. It was amazing. I haven't tried to do it again because that's not really the way to trade. You can get a spike like that. The next month's not necessarily, the market's not necessarily going to move the same way. But it was all recorded on my FX book. What it was, January, we had a head-to-head battle. Did miserably in there. And with a small account, £100. I did miserably trading. I still won, though. Did miserably trading against this other guy who was from the same group, claimed to be making money, but the head-to-head battle proved he wasn't. And then in the second month, in 2 weeks, I said, guys, look, let's do this. And I day after day after day, posted all the trades. They was all following me on the MyFX book, and I literally went made 100% in the couple of weeks and recovered all my losses and all the rest. And it was just a done deal. So on from there, I just kept studying, and that's what you do. You just go to YouTube, you look at all the various trading channels. Something's going to resonate with you. Stick with it. And that's what I did. And then one day, sure as day's day, you're just going to turn the corner. You know, I used to have profitable days became profitable weeks became profitable months. And that's when I knew I had it. When I made profits end of month, because that's a long time, it's 30 days, I knew I had turned the corner, and, you know, everything else was history. And at that point, I was like, okay, let's do this. And it was a friend of mine, he said, if I could trade 100%, he'd invest money with me. And I said to him, look, I'll prove it to you, no question. But let's just be honest. If I show you that I can make 100% in the market, whether you invest money with me or not, it wouldn't really matter, because other people are going to be throwing money at me. And that is what has happened. He hasn't invested with me to this day, to be honest with you. But other people have come along. Recently, I've teamed up with a millionaire. He's partnered with me. He's shown me a few things. And the journey's just been, it's just a phenomenal journey. And it's continuing. It hasn't stopped. It's continuing. It will continue. It's just, this is my life. I love the life. I love the freedom it provides. As I say, my autistic son, he has needs. We get disability living allowance, and he's been awarded by the government high rate. So that tells you the level he's at with his autism. He needs 24-hour care and supervision. And being a trader allows me the time to be there for him whenever he needs me. And, you know, right now he's sleeping. But, that aspect of the job, I couldn't do it. I mean, if I was doing my normal job, gas engineer, building work, I can't be away from home and be with him at the same time. This allows me to be home all the time, and if I need to get up and walk away, I can get up and walk away from a chart. It's not a problem. And, this is the job. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Now, look, let's first of all, that was a fantastic story. I loved it. We don't often get that much detail, especially around these sort of trading forums and stuff, which is where it all really does happen. And getting some insight into how somebody sees that is great. So, just quickly before we dive into some more of the show questions here, when you basically, you mentioned that early strategy, trendline break, fib, which we will probably show on the YouTube channel later. But did you evolve from that, or completely change what you were doing to when you finally turn that corner?
That's right. Yes, I did evolve. So here's the thing: you start with something, and then from something you will see something else, and that is what happened. So I mean, that strategy, I delved into it. I broke it down into morsels, you could say. And then I thought, because you would win and you would lose. You'd win and you'd lose. So you're not making massive gains. And then some months it would work really well. Some months it wouldn't work as well. Well, what I know now is some months the market's trending beautifully. And then some months the market's just sideways, not doing much, depending on what pair you're trading. So what I've done, I have modified it a whole lot. I mean, I think, to be honest, now my trading is, that strategy still plays a part in my trading, but on a much higher, there's a lot more meat to my trading now. One of the things I used to talk about is you have to have confluence when you're taking a trade setup. So you're not just looking for the single line trend line break. You're looking at the cross of the moving average. You're looking at what's happening on the higher time frame charts, what levels we're at. You're selecting levels in the market and so on. So there's a lot else that you're looking at, but you build a picture with these confluent factors. Now you've got a trade plan, and there's a trade plan that now you can use over and over and over and over again. Now I do nothing else. I mean, there's a number of things that play into my strategy. And now that's it. I will not look at anything. I don't care. There's a guy in my group there. He trades 50, 100 lots. I love him to death. That's his strategy. I'm not going to try and trade his strategy. That's what he does, and he does it really well. But I do what I do, right? I do what I do, and that's what I focus on. It doesn't matter. I went back to one of the trade groups, Scott Barkley, I'll mention the name, and he mentored me. And I'm in the group, and I'm looking at them trade, and he's saying, yeah, get in this trade now. It's a pound yen trade. He said, take it short. That looks like it's going to pop. And I'm like, nah, no. Doesn't fit my criteria. Wasn't even interested. Whereas back in the day, he would have said something like that, and I would have gotten the trade because he said it.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or different, but because he said it, I would have got in. But now it's a case of no. That's, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's not for me. I'll wait for my setup.
And your edge is only your edge. He doesn't win that 100% of the time, and he's going to take those trades all the time, whereas you're not. And so you're going to either get the loser or get the winner. It's 50-50 at that point.
Right. And when you get the loser off his recommendation, it hurts more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because here's your trading guru told you to do something. It failed. You're like, man, can he really trade? What's going on here?
Yeah. Hey, so let's get some stats on what your trading looks like at the moment. So we want to find out, like, how often are you trading? How long do your trades typically run for? Winning percentages, your risk to reward ratio, that sort of stuff.
Well, my name is Alltrades, not for no reason, because I have multiple styles of trading: scalping, day trading, swing trading. So my trades can be anything from a day, can go on 2, 3, 4 days, can go 2, 3, 4 weeks. It, like you've seen, it all depends on the trade setup that I see, and how the market plays out. Just now we got a couple of beautiful trades. The CAD yen, phenomenal trade. It just fell beautifully over a couple of days. Whereas the Swiss yen is taking 3 or 4 days. It's just going slow as molasses right to target. So it depends on the currency. I mean, you can be trading the pound, and oh Lord, what a rocket that thing is! It can go 300 pips in a day, right? It depends on the currency that you're trading. But I have a trading style, and the style requires that, I'm waiting for the trade to go to target. So if it's going to take a week, I'll wait. If it gets in the same day, well, good. Thank you very much. I'll take that profit.
And so what sort of timeframes are you looking at primarily to enter on the trade?
I'm looking primarily, the hour chart is my base. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, that's my base. So I'll see what's happening on the hour chart. Of course, I'll drop to the 15-minute chart and I'll scalp. So I've got the long-term position, but whilst I'm waiting for the long-term position to take effect, I'll be scalping on the 15 and the 5-minute chart, getting 10 and 20 and 30 pips, and I'll do that all day if I got time, if I'm in front of the computer. And then I've got the longer-term position, which when price eventually turns a corner, it's going to fall and pay me. So I'm just getting paid over and over again. It's particularly important for me to scalp, because if price doesn't turn when I expect it and it goes a bit more against me, because I've been scalping, I've been making up for that extra movement that I didn't expect. So I'm always banking pips. I'm always banking pips. So I can afford the drawdowns that come because I'm always banking. Then eventually when the big move comes, I'm just banking a lot more on it. So it's a win-win. And again, this taken time to get to this sort of level where you can do that. Time and a lot of patience. Now I'm in front of the chart for about an hour a day, maybe 2. Some days I might sit there for 2 or 3 hours. But it's not good to stare into the screens like I used to. I used to be there all day staring into the screens. It's not good to do that. So an hour or 2, I get a headache. I get a headache quick now, actually. After about an hour, I just need to take a break. So put my trades on, walk away.
And how many instruments would you go through in an hour? Like, how many charts are you knocking through?
12, 16, 18. Yeah, it could be about. It depends. I mean, for me, the charts build up. So once I've found a trade, I'll cross-reference it with the other pairs of that currency. And then you end up cross-reference. So in the end, you just end up with about 10, 15. There's 18 charts on my screen right now. And I'm in pretty much all of them. That's just what happens. So yeah, you'll go through the trade. You just naturally you'll go through it. And then there'll be like the Swiss yen and recently the Swiss yen and the CAD yen, but my focus was on the Swiss yen. So you're in all these different trades, but then you focus on one and you make that your focus. And all the others will do what that's just extra money. This one will be your focus. And then once that's gone, then you look at the others and see what some have gone against you, some have gone for you, some have taken profit. And then you look at the ones that's gone against you and think, oh, this one's not working. What's going on here? How can I fix it? And then you'll focus on fixing that trade. And it's a beautiful thing because they all come round. They all come round. If you know what you're doing, they're all going to come round. It's just the timing that's necessary and the patience that you need to bring them round to a profit for yourself.
And when you're saying fixing it, are you talking about hedging the trade or something else?
Well, first of all, you got to understand the trade. So yeah, I'll put a hedge on in the same direction, of course. And sometimes I'll just get out of that position sooner and think, well, look, it's just taking too long. I can't bother to wait and just close it out. And it'll be a profit. Sometimes, if I see that the account overall, we're coming near to the end of the month. Remember, I get paid at the end of the month. And then we come to the end of the month and we're up 15, 20% for the month. I'll close everything because if you've had a 20% month, you don't need to do anything else. It's 20%. That's good money right there. I'll just close everything down. Winners, losers, the whole lot. Shut it down. I'm 20% banked. I'm good. And then I'll just wait to the end of the month, few days. If it's 25th, close everything down, take 5 days off. And then the new month starts because I'm running a fund, you see. So they pay me based on the beginning to the end of the month. So if you're up even 10, 15, 20%, and you're at the 20th or the 23rd of the month, just stop trading. You don't need to do anything else. Walk away. Get paid on the money that you have. Because obviously, it's like you could enter a trade, it can go against you. Now your percentages has gone down. And so you haven't had as good a month as you would otherwise have had. So get paid. And then the new month, start trading again. And then work for that month. And so that way you just actually stay profitable. I think someone on your show had said something like to that effect. I remember in the past. If you're having a profitable month, close up sharp. Walk away having had a profitable month.
I can't.
And then
remember.
the next month, do the same thing. And then you'll be surprised at the end of the year how much profit you've made because you've had month and month of consecutive gains. They all build up. That's compound interest, right? End of the month, you're hitting 100%. End of the year, sorry, you're hitting 100%. That's a phenomenal year. You've done great. People die to make 100% interest in it over a year. I mean, the banks are paying less than 1%. You've far exceeded what the banks are doing. Come on. Part of the problem with some people is they really don't know what they're doing. And they're trading and trading and trading and trading. They don't know when they're winning from when they're losing. They just don't know. And they keep trading. You have to know when you're winning and quit while you're ahead. If you practice that, you become successful.
Yeah, it is a skill and an art form that definitely. So look, what is your typical day like? So you spend an hour. I mean, when does that hour start? When does it finish? And what are you doing in that hour of your typical trading day?
Well, I'm a family man, so my life focused around my kids. So my morning starts getting the kids up. As I said, my son's autistic, so every morning I cook for him because he has to eat prepared meals. His diet is very important. So in the morning I get up, I cook for him, I get him ready for school. They come and collect him on the school bus. My daughter, while she's getting ready, I'll start looking at the charts. But then I got to take her to school, and that's around about 8:45, 9 o'clock. At which point I come and I look at the chart, just really just to see what's happening. The trades I'm looking at have taken off yet. And I will just add a position or two. I'll talk in the chat group for a bit. There's 2 or 3 that I'm a member with. I'll just say, good morning, traders. How you guys doing today? A certain currency pair is on my watch list. And all of that takes a good hour or so. And then I'm done. I'm tired. It's already 10:30. I'm like, oh, crumbs, I'm hungry. Then I'll go do some breakfast. And that's the morning. And Monday, I don't trade till lunchtime, till New York session. Friday, I don't trade till New York session. So it's just a few words in the trade group. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in the trade group in the morning. Then in the afternoon, if I've got time, I'll be in the trade group. If I haven't got time, I look at the charts and I don't know. I don't spend that much time in front of the charts. There's just so much to do. I got my son comes from school at 3. I got to prepare for when he comes. And when he comes home at 3:30, well, I'm done. When the kids are home from school, forget it. There's no more looking at charts. I'm done. Now my time is all focused on them. You know, you're cooking dinner, you're washing up, you're caring to their needs and whatnot until you put them to bed about 9 o'clock. And then you're tired because you've been with them all day. So if you do come to the chart, you take a quick look. There's nothing doing, man. You're just like, okay, your brain is frazzled. You're falling asleep. Your neck is breaking because your head is just leaning on your neck. I don't know what it's like sitting in the chair. You know when you fall asleep in the chair?
Yeah.
It just falls off to the side and your neck is breaking. I'm like, what am I doing here? I can't focus. Just walk or turn the screens off. Go and lay down. I would rather print out the chart and have it on paper and just look at it than look at the screen. Because nowadays, I just don't have time for it. I really don't. I just I know I'm looking for it. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Here's a beautiful trade that's happening right now. The Euro Swiss. Okay. I mentioned this to a group the other day. Now, I mentioned this on the January 30th, January 14th. Now, it was looking beautiful then. It was looking like a double bottom, like it was going to pop back up. Well, it hasn't. Since then, it's continued going down, down, down. It's dropped now 112 pips. This is going down, down, down. I am long. Okay. You can note the date. What's the date? 23rd of January.
Yeah.
I am long the Euro Swiss. Now, some people say you're out of your mind. One of the guys in my trade group, he shorted that. 100 lots, made money. Beautiful. I love what he does. I do. I really do. But that's his trade. That's what he does, and he does it so well. My trade is I'm long. So I'm looking at this, and I know where it's going to turn. It's going to go down a bit more. It's going to go down to about 1.066. It's going to drop there, and then it's going to turn. Now, it may even give us a spike, a long wick down, because it hasn't been in this area for a long time. So sometimes they drop a wick 200, 300, 400 pips. Bam! And just take everybody out. I will be in that trade long. And this bad boy is going to turn around, and it's going to come up, and it's going to pay me nicely, handsomely, and rewardingly. And I'm just going to be loving it. And I'll be posting in the trade group, loving the job, how I am loving the job. But I don't sit around and just, be in front of this chart every day. I haven't even done anything to this. I looked at it for an hour this morning. I did a scalp, made 20 or 30 pips. It's dropped down further. Okay, fine. I've lived the day with my family and doing what I'm doing. Tomorrow morning, I'll look again, see what it's doing, see if it reached where the bottom where I think, and I'll just watch what it's going to do. I'm not bothered.
What do you think makes you different from sort of a lot of the other traders out there who would be probably way more emotionally attached to a trade that would be like that, going against them quite heavily, and if you're going to have to try and scalp to make some money out of it, and what do you think made you different? And I suppose even in the beginning when you turned the corner, what do you think made you different?
Well, Experience, isn't it? Experience. You can't speed your way into experience. Here I am, this is going into my 6th year as a trader. You can't speed your way into experience. You have to pay your dues. You have to put in the time. You have to put in it. My wrist literally hurts. It aches. I've used that mouse so much over the years that now I can't use it for that long because I have a click in my wrist. It literally hurts if I use the mouse for too long. So that's why I'm not in front of the charts for that much time. Just a click here and a click there, and I'm finished. Because I've done that much work in the beginning that it's what's his name? Les Brown, who says the people who work hard today are going to have it easy tomorrow. People taking it easy today will have a hard tomorrow. Well, I worked hard, very hard earlier on, and now I can just look at a chart and I can just wait. I can be patient. I know what's going to happen. I can take my time, and that's it. That's the difference. I can be patient. I advocate patience all the time. Just in the trade group recently, a young lady comes in training. She's in a sore way. I mean, her account's down 90%. She's begging, can somebody help me here? Does anyone know how to hedge an account? She's trying to hedge. I'm like, calm down. All that stress does nothing for you. And, you're going to hedge, and all the profit that should be coming to you, you're going to lose. I mean, calm down. Anyway, cut a long story short, today her account is up 50%. And she's recouped 50% of the losses that she had. She follows some of the advice that I gave her. So yeah, people, because they don't know what they're doing, they get themselves into situations that they do not understand, and they just don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And experience those situations enough. You're going to figure out, actually, I've been here before. Maybe I need to relax, take a chill pill.
I think there's a big issue with traders and new things, right? And that sort of immediate gratification when something, it might be a new system that you're trying, or it might be first day you're going to try this new system. There is that, and it plays with your patience and really sort of completely throws it out the door for most people. And,
that's right.
And they want, it's like, I want to see, I do a lot of robots, and put a robot out, it trades once or twice a month maybe, or 3 times a month for a certain robot. Right. And then this person's, somebody might be emailing me on day one going, it hasn't taken any trades. And it's like, have you seen what the history is? This thing's not going to take a trade every day. It's going to take 3 trades a month. Right. So it's sort of like, people just expect, I want to be in the market. Whereas as soon as something new hits, and just getting yourself over that new to even familiar, which is maybe 2 weeks, is detrimental to a lot of people. And I say that myself because it's taken me a long time to get to the 2 weeks without destroying myself or destroying my account. So this is what's ringing home for me at the moment. So hey, look. So what about guys who are out there working a day job? What do you recommend? What steps do you recommend they take to make it in this industry?
Well, I've been there. I was a retail trader. It did have a day job, and I quit the job, and it was because of my son, admittedly. But if you're not all in, you are going to struggle because the market's going to move without you. You're not going to understand why, and you're just not going to be able to put the time in. It takes time. You got to put the time in. I mean, hours on end, hours on end. And if you put in the time, you will crack the code and you'll become profitable. But if you looking at a chart and then you got to go and do a job and then you come back and you're just not, there's nuances that you're just not going to see it. You're just not going to see it, and you'll miss it. And then it's too late. This trading, I think of it like boxing. A boxer, before he becomes a professional boxer, he has to learn to take a punch. And I've only heard this. I've never been a boxer myself, but he has to learn. His body has to become adjusted to feeling the blows. And it has to get seasoned. And that takes a couple of years. Now, if you're not in the ring you're not going to get that adaptation because you're always away. So you got to be focused on your craft. And when you focus in there, you're going to see the nuances that the market has. You're going to see the patterns. You're going to just understand that, hang on a minute, I've been here before. I've seen this. And you're just going to start doing things that you literally can't do it if you got a job. There are things that I do because I'm sat in front of the computer long enough that your mind just says, oh, try this, try that. That if you're not in front of the computer for that period of time, you're just not going to think to do it. And so you just won't. Sometimes I'm trading and I'm listening to a podcast as I'm trading, and you just hear something in that podcast. You feel, oh yeah, I've seen that. And you're looking at it on the chart, you know. So these are the type of nuances that you get when you spend the time in front of the chart. There was a beautiful trade I took one time. It was a Canadian dollar. And what it was OPEC had a meeting, and the news is just playing in the background. And here they're talking about oil. Oil affects the Canadian dollar. OPEC has a meeting. Here I'm waiting on this trade, and I'm wondering, when's it going to turn? And all of a sudden, they say in the news, they're waiting for Vladimir Putin to come. He's got to sign off on the deal. He's coming on Friday. And I'm like, that's it. It's him. Putin, when he comes, the trade's going to turn. Come Friday, he comes around about 12, 1 o'clock our time. He comes, 1:30, boom! That trade just turns. It goes ballistic in my favor. I'm like, holy cow, look at, how are you going to find that if you're out working? How's that going to happen? It's just not going to happen for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's happened many times since.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, and myself included, sort of approach it trading as like, oh, I'm gonna do some trading, and I'm gonna become a trader. I'm gonna make some money trading, and just so underestimate what's involved in trying to get from that starting point to being successful. Completely underestimate it. And then that's the gig, and that's why so many people come in and leave and never return. Now, you did mention Putin. Go on. Sorry.
The thing is, you have to be committed. I am and was committed. I was committed. There was no other option for me. This absolutely had to work. Two of my children, they're in America. They're in college, university out there. If I'm to travel out there to see them, how do I make money? When I was a tradesman, you have to physically be there, putting a boiler on the wall, soldering pipe or plastering a wall, or you have to physically be there. Now, if I travel out to see my children in America, I just carry a laptop, internet connection. I can make money over there. I can make money. So I knew that I had to figure this out because of the way my family dynamics is. This works just beautifully within my family dynamics in every way, shape, or form. So I had to do this, and I was committed. And that's the thing. If you commit, because you have to succeed. Wasn't it one of those guys, Napoleon? He burnt the ships. They landed on the island that was going to take over the island or something, and he literally burnt the ships. So either they won or they died trying. You have to
yeah. I vaguely remember that from some story I heard. Now you mentioned so Putin. That sounds like fundamental sort of information. I mean, how often do you use fundamentals to, I suppose, help with what you're doing?
Well, figure that one out, right? That was coincidence, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I happened to be in front of the chart, happened to be looking at a trade that resonated with oil, as we all know, and that just happened. So now, if I see the CADs in a situation, I am watching the news. And now I watch the news, and sometimes you'll just hear a currency all of a sudden pop up. I mean, Brexit last year was phenomenal, the British pound, in the news all the time. So let's have a look at that currency, what's going on. One time I heard Sweden. I was like, Sweden? Crumbs. So then I looked up the Swedish, whatever money that is, and there was a trade right there. Sometimes you hear about Mexico. Mexico? What's going on in Mexico, right? Okay, take a look. So I listen to the news. Sometimes you'll just hear something outlandish about a particular Turkey. Oh, Lord. There was one time Turkey was in the news. They were being forced to raise their interest rates, and Erdogan didn't want to do it. And that currency went up through the roof. Lord of mercy, it was ridiculous. In the end, he had to cave. And I think US wanted him to release somebody or something, some craziness. But Turkey was in the news. And you look at the chart, it's like, oh, crumbs, look at that. Yeah, crumbs, there's a trade there. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, just here. Now I just got an ear for it, though. And you remember, that happened because on that one occasion, Vladimir Putin had to sign off on something. And then I realized, and I've known this before anyway, to be honest, then I realized, more so than ever, it just really solidified what I already thought, that the news is not there for the likes of me and you. The news is a tip-off to the big guns. I mean, serious traders, trading firms and hedge funds. It tips them off what's going to happen. Because if I can see it and I consider myself, I know nothing. Come on. Other people must be able to see it. I'm not a genius like that.
Cool. Well, look, so it sounds like you've got fundamentals are not core to your strategy, but you do listen out, and if there's something that's going to move currency in one direction or the other, you'll use it to your advantage. So we're going to dive into the quickfire round here, Joseph, and see what it takes to become a successful trader. So how long did it take you to go from newbie to consistently profitable?
Well, I would say it was in my third year that I became consistently profitable. And that's in the sense of seeing 3 months back to back, 3 profitable. I mean, I remember when I couldn't get a profitable week back to back, let alone a profitable month. So yeah, after
3 years.
In my third year. Yeah.
What's your mental approach to trading, and do you have any special techniques you can share with us?
Well, trading is all about psychology. It's 90% psychology. So you really have to get your mind right. And I would suggest listening to the likes of Jim Rohn, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor. That Born Rich video series was really good. You have to work on your mind. You have to get focused in your mind first, and then you'll understand what you're doing in the charts. It's more about psychology than anything to do with strategy.
What's your favorite entry setup?
Favorite entry is single line trend line break. Still is single line trend line break. Break of the trend line, and I'm in.
What strategies do you use to exit or manage active trades?
I'll use the fibs. So I'm looking for price to move to a certain fib level, 618. Fib is really good for taking profits, and I just follow that. That works.
What's your recommended trading book?
Haven't read any trading books, so again, it's just the audio. Listen to something on YouTube, and you might listen to it over and over again till it really sinks in. So trading book for me is the Think and Grow Rich Napoleon Hill. I've listened to that audio, Earl Nightingale, over and over again, multiple times. The Born Rich video series, I've watched that multiple times. Les Brown, one of his recordings is Possible. Because it's possible, anything's possible, isn't it? But you got to believe it's possible. I've listened to that multiple times. Jim Rohn, if anything's going to change, you have to change. Brilliant talk that he gives on the map. Zig Ziglar, you got to have a plan. You write it down, put a date on it. And know, you have the why. What's in it for me? You got to have your why. Tony Robbins. I mean, all of these guys. Listen to their audio. Listen to it over and over again. Get your mind right, and that is your success right there. Nice. It's better for me. It's better to listen than to read because it's quicker, isn't it? I can work while I'm listening. I can't work while I'm reading.
Yeah, I prefer it also. Now, if there was one thing you'd recommend any retail trader spend the next month mastering, what would it be, why, and how could they go about mastering it?
Yeah, it's your mind, isn't it? You've heard the story. If they gave you an axe to chop down a tree, what would you do first? You spend most of your time sharpening the blade. So you want to sharpen your mind. You want to get your mind right. And again, listen to those most motivational videos and so on is really good. And focus on one thing that you see in the charts. You must see something that you think works. Well, just work on that thing that you think works and keep to that thing that you think works and build on it. And that's it. So really you're mastering your mind and what you see. Remember, what you see is an interpretation of what comes out of your mind. So focus there. And of course, everything else will be history.
What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
Broker is TradeView. As I said, I run a fund, and that's the broker that I use. And I use him or them because unlike these other trading platforms, trading whatever, where they're in Cyprus, they're everywhere else, this guy, I've actually met him, gone down to London Bridge, and we've sat down, we've had a talk, we've had a discussion. I call him on the phone, he picks up the phone, and that's great. And so yeah, TradeView Forex. Shout out to them. That's my preferred broker, and the trading platform is the MT4.
What was the worst trade you ever had?
The British pound last year. Oh Lord! I mean, we was in it from June. It took away all my profits. June, July. It wasn't until August, end of August, no less, that it started turning around. It was the worst trade, but it was absolutely the best trade. It was so beautiful that long before it turned around, I told the guys that it's going to turn around. I got a newsletter that I sent out. I put it in the newsletter, what it's going to do, why it's going to do it. I told everyone that, look, it's going to turn around toward the end of August. And lo and behold, 21st of August, it started turning around. And boy, did it turn around. It paid me handsomely and went way beyond my expectations. I mean, if only I held on long enough per my strategy, but man, I could have held on a lot longer, and I wish I did. I would have made a ton more money. It kept on going. It's just been beautiful. Since September, you can see it on the chart. It's gone up and up and up and up. And I thought with Brexit coming around about end of October, best to just be completely flat, which is what I did per my strategy. But the chart shows you it just carried on going. Beautiful. The worst trade, but again, you got to realize your worst trades are often your best trades because there's a lesson in there for you. If only you'll accept the lesson that it teaches, you become a better trader.
So, talking about lessons, I mean, if there was one piece of advice you could leave for our listeners, what would it be?
Well, if the listeners are mainly traders, people that are trying to learn to trade, you know, who you surround yourself with will dictate your success. Okay. So as I said, I mean, I was in one trade room and they're all a bunch of losers, couldn't accept me winning, was always trying to put me down. And I was always fighting, you know, to say, hey, I'm going to win. You join another trade group where they're giving you the support that you need to become a winner. And then there was another trade group where he resonated me, Jared, he resonated with me very well. The strategy that he used was similar to what I'm using. And it was just an added piece to the puzzle. So who you surround yourself, if you're in a trade group, ask who's making money in this trade group. If you can't see money being made, get out, run away, run away from that group, because you're just going to be like the people in that group. You're not going to make any money. If you want to make money, find people that are making money. And as a result, herd mentality, you will just make money for being part of that group.
Nice piece of advice. Now, look, the last question of the show here is we'd like you to give us the bones of a trading strategy, entry setup, stop loss, take profit targets, market time frame, basically something our listeners out there can have a try at home.
Right. So, well, let's look at this trade here. This was the CAD yen recently. Look, so it's the 20th of January, and I had mentioned to the guys. So today's the 23rd. So I'd mentioned to the guys in the group round about the 17th, no, it was a bit before that, around about the 15th of January, somewhere around there, that the CAD yen is on my watch list. Okay. It kept on going up. It went up a little bit higher. But from that point where I said it was on my watch list, If you'd have just drawn a trend line, a single line trend line, which sort of follows the 50 period moving average, yeah?
Yep, with you.
Price broke the trend line. Now, on the 15-minute chart, I'm already in, okay? It broke the 50 period on the hourly chart. So I'm already in on the 15-minute chart. It broke the 50, so now I've got in on the hourly chart. Then it gave a pullback. I enter again. There's 3 positions. And then I just sit and wait. And then it just dropped. Pullback, drop, pullback, dropped. A beautiful trade. That trade run. Obviously, I got out of it too early, like I always do. But that was 80 pips where I got out. But that ran 125 pips.
And did you get out on the fib level, or was it something else?
Yeah, you use the fib. So what you do is you fib the leg that breaks the structure. So it breaks the single line trend line, breaks the 50 MA. Then the pullback, you're looking at around about the 50% for the entry. And then you target the 618 fib or the 200. But in this case, the news just slammed down. It was around about, I saw the news, so I got around about the 200 to 261 fib.
Cool, brilliant. Yeah. Well, look, that's a fantastic little strategy there, and we're going to jump on the YouTube channel after this and record a wee video. So, guys, make sure you check that out. Now, before we wrap up, what's the best way for the listeners to get hold of you?
So I have the trade group, which is on Telegram, is the DTFL chat box, Day Trade for Life chat box. So that's Telegram. My email, alltrades245@gmail.com. Website, which is theprofitclub.biz, B-I-Z.
Brilliant. Well, look,
so there's 3 ways, isn't it? So
3 ways.
That's more.
Indeed. We'll get those up on the website. So, but a big thank you to Joseph for sharing with us today. Everything we've discussed here, along with all the links, are going to be in the show notes. To find them, simply search for Joseph or Alltrades in the search box on TradingNut.com. Until next time, I wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. All right, folks, so there we go. I told you it was a good interview, didn't I? It was a really, really good interview. So thanks again, Joseph, for that. Now, do remember, I mentioned at the start an email address, a special email address. It will be in the show notes. It's alltrades@TradingNut. That's ALLTRADES at TradingNut.com. Email that if you're interested to find out more about what Joseph has going on and how he can perhaps help you. All right, guys, so that's it for another episode. Do remember to check out the video we shot, and it's up on the YouTube channel, or it's in the show notes as well. So go over there, TradingNut.com, check that out. And what else can I tell you? Oh, look, I mean, I'm doing really well with one particular robot from the Robot Traders Club. So if you guys want to go and check that out, then head over there to the TradingNut site and check out Robot Traders Club. Or if you want to build your own, we've got the Builders Club there as well. All right, guys, until next time, have a great trading week.